Hello and welcome to all. In today's session, we'll see how to raise the defects in JIRA. We'll also see defect templates and the real-time example. Okay, so first we'll understand what is a defects. A defects is a deviation between the expected behavior of the application and the actual behavior observed during the testing. Okay, it arises due to missing or incorrect implementation or the coding errors or the requirement misunderstanding or the integration issues. Okay, to understand the basic concepts. Okay, so we are going to consider the login features. Okay, so now if we consider login features, we have a number of scenarios like when user enter the valid username and the valid password, click on the login button, then the expected behavior is like it should display the welcome user screen. The other scenario is like when user enter the valid username, incorrect password, click on the login. Okay, then it should give the error message. The other scenario we can find out like when user enter the user valid username, okay, valid password, okay, click on the remember me checkbox, click on the login, okay, then the business requirement is like if user check the remember me, okay, then it should retain the username and the password as it is, and the when user login the next time, okay, so it should display username and password in mask status, okay, and if user simply click on login button, okay, it should not ask the either password or the username, it should directly navigate to welcome user screen. Okay, so now here we'll consider the last scenario. For example, remember me checkbox is not working. Okay, though user enter the valid username, valid password. Okay, and when he click on the remember me checkbox and click on the login button. Okay, and if user log out the screen. Okay, and when he next time log in. Okay, again like application is asking the to enter the username and password, though I have marked as a remember me checkbox checked. Okay, so this is the deviation between the our business requirement, like what is our expectation and how the actual application behavior. Okay, so we'll see how we'll raise the defects in Jira and what are the fields are mandatory. Okay, that is nothing but the defect templates. Okay, and how we'll raise the effective defects. Okay, so now remember, if we have not raised the effective defects, okay, so then development team will not fix that defects, okay, or it will fix the partially, okay, which is arises again another defects, okay, and it's a time consuming. Okay, so when we are raising a defects, our defect should be effective defects. Okay, so it should have all these details. Okay, so now we'll see what are the details is required in defect template. Okay, and then if we provide all the details, then dev team will fix the defects correctly and properly, and it will avoid the further other defects. Okay, now here we can see this is the requirement, like as I mentioned, when the user selects remember me, okay, and login successful, okay, first time, then user credentials like email address and the password should be retained. Okay, on the next application launch, login field should be auto populated, it should not ask the again username and the password. Okay, so this is our business requirement. Okay, this is nothing but our expected behavior. Okay, but actual behavior what observed after closing and reopening the browser, email and password fields are blank. Okay, user must type the credentials again. So this is the nothing but the like we observe the deviation. Okay, so now this is the defect. Why this is the defect? Because the requirement clearly states that the credentials should be remembered, but the application or system does not implement this behavior. Hence, expected is not matching with the actual, and that is the reason this is the defect. Okay, now this is the defect template. Okay, so when we are raising defects in Jira or when we are raising a defects in Excel sheet, we need to fill all these fields. Okay, then and then dev team will fix the defects correctly. Otherwise, defect development team will think different way and they will fix something else which arises the other defects. To avoid all these things, we need to provide the defects in the correct format. Okay, so now first field is the defect ID. Okay, it should be auto generated. Okay, if you are using a tool Jira, then definitely it will taken care by Jira itself only or Bugzilla. Okay, then we need to also select the modules or the project name. Okay, identify where the defects belonging, whether it's a login features related to, or it's a dashboard related, or any other features. Okay, then summary. We need to give a short and clear summary. It describes the problem in one line only. Okay, whereas in description, we need to give all these details, the steps, detailed steps, how we can replicate the things. Okay, steps to reproduce. Okay, so here we can mention like step by step action to reproduce the defects. Okay, steps to reproduce. Okay, and for the steps to reproduce, if you have any precondition, here we mentioned, then we need to state what must exist before the executing the steps. Like for a login screen, application should be up. We will just mention that way. Okay, then next is the expected result and the actual result. So expected result is nothing but what should happen as per the requirement. What is the business requirements? What is the business needs? Okay, this is our expected result, and actual result is nothing but the what the application is behaving currently. Okay, then next we need to attach the screenshot or video. Okay, so this is very very important. Okay, it's a proof. Okay, it's a evidence. Okay, if you attach the screenshot or the screen recording so that dev team will understand, okay, what is the exact issue. Okay, then next is the environment details. Okay, we need to provide the in which environment issue is replicated. Okay, if we, in case we are using the QA environment, we need to mention the QA environment. If we are using the performance environment, we need to mention the performance environment. If in case we are using the automation environment, we need to mention the automation environment. Okay, or if it's a production environment, we need to mention the production environment. Okay, and along with this environment, we also need to give other details as well, which is the browser, because it may be chances like we are supporting the application in Edge, Chrome, okay, and it is working in Chrome properly, whereas it is not working uh, uh, application properly in Edge. Okay, we need to give all this detail like browser, which is the OS. Okay, then we also need to provide the severity and priority. Okay, severity is nothing but the impact of the functionality, whether it's a critical, high, or medium. And priority is the business urgency or business needs. Okay, that is the P1, P2, or the P3. Okay, so usually the priority is decided by the product, and severity as a QA, as a business, we are understanding the business. Okay, we are deciding the severity. We also need to provide the build or version. Okay, on which version or the build we found the defect. Okay, then we'll assign to developers if we know the who is the specific developer to that specific module. Okay, if you are not aware, we'll assign to the development leads. Okay, then obvious reported by like is like who has raised the defect. If you are using the Excel sheet, you need to add your name. If you are using the Jira will take care by themselves only. Okay, we also need to give the some comments notes if in case you found some logs. Okay, or you have any additional information, you can attach here. Okay, and by default the status is a new. Okay, and we'll need to change the status. Okay, we'll see in defect life cycle what are the different statuses. Okay, but this is the defect templates. Okay, as part of when we are raising defect, the effective defect. Okay, all these fields are mandatory. Okay, and now we'll see. Okay, the scenario remember me is not working. Okay, so first like defect ID, it's auto generated as I mentioned. Okay, if not, we need to keep it unique. Then module name we are selecting the login module. Okay, now here you can see summary. Like as I mentioned, it should be one liner and it's a descriptive. Like here, summary mentioned. Remember me checkbox does not return the login credentials on the next session. Okay, so this is my summary. Then precondition is the user account should exist or application should be up and running. Okay, so this is my precondition and steps to reproduce. Here you can see all these details. Like if in case dev team work or follow the same steps, they also able to replicate the things. If they are not able to replicate, they will mention cannot replicate and they will again reassign back to QA. Okay, then it's again time consuming. Okay, to avoid these things, we need to mention the steps clearly. Okay, so first step is launch the application, enter the valid email and the password, select remember me checkbox, click login button, then application navigate to dashboard. Okay, then close the browser, then again reopen the simple browser and open the application URL again. Okay, this is the steps to reproduce. Then expected result, credentials should be auto-populated and user should see login page with email and the password pre-filled. But actual credentials are not written and email and password fields are blank. Now, if you see all these things, summary, preconditions, steps to reproduce, expected and actual, I believe dev team will able to replicate the issue. And still dev team is having some issues, then definitely they will go ahead with the screenshots or the video. Okay. Then we'll also provide the all these details like environment details, browser, okay, then build version and which like environment it is able to replicate. Here we have mentioned. Okay, and we'll also provide the comments like if in case we have some additional data or logs or the test data, like it may be chances like some defects are specific to some test data. In that case, we need to provide the test data path. Okay, so this is the way we need to raise the defects. Okay, so that dev team will fix the defects as early as possible. Okay, and they will also understand the defects if we provide all these details. And this is the defect templates. Okay, so we need to provide all these details. Okay, if we provide all these details, then definitely dev team will able to replicate the issue. It will not come back again to QA. Okay, and the chances are less, like dev team is saying, cannot be replicate since we provided all the evidence in screenshot and the video. Okay, so this way we can raise the defects in Jira or in Bugzilla or in Excel sheet if in case you are using. Okay, so if in case you have any questions or queries, please let me know. Thank you.